Hey everyone, thanks for joining us. The next episode of Red Valkyrie is about to start.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Red Valkyrie. I am your host Shae Zombie, and I am here with the super awesome, amazing cousin Red Gaze. How you doing, sir?
Howdy, howdy. I am doing just great. How's
Awesome.
everybody?
We'll find out hopefully soon. I feel like this was probably a rough way to stream, considering I waited really long to tell everybody. So apologies. I'm sure people will trickle in as we're going along.
It happens.
But that's what replays are for.
Right.
So we're here because you have a super awesome Indiegogo that is actually not a comic book.
Correct.
But a novel.
That's right.
I'm so excited.
I thought it was time to go multimedia.
I love it. And it's called Sunsworn. So you want to go ahead and start us off with your pitch?
Oh, sure thing. My pitch sucks, but
I got you, cuz. It's cool.
Yeah, man. If all your favorite space fantasy or even sci-fi franchises have let you down, if you're tired of all the PC injection and the bullshit, I would encourage you to get on board with Sunsworn. Because this is we're bringing it back. You know, I've been a lifelong Star Wars fan, and it just crushed me to watch it go the way it did. So
Absolutely.
This is a story. Yeah, this is old as shit. You know, there's like 15 years in the making. This actually originated from a tabletop role-playing game world that I built years and years and years ago and used to run games in. So yeah, this whole environment was already there. You know, I made it years ago, and I always wanted to do something else with it. So after being challenged so many times, well, if you don't like the direction Star Wars is going, why don't you write something better? I said, okay, all right, challenge accepted. So Sunsworn came about, and what you're going to witness here is the fall of an empire. Basically, you have a near utopian society. There's still some elements of riffraff running around that require being put into check. But for the most part, these people live really peaceful lives. A lot is provided for them, and nobody really asks why. So that's one of the things you're going to find out is the hows and whys of how this galaxy operates. But also, you're going to find out that they do have enemies from a long time ago that have not forgotten. And what happens is these enemies come back to claim the galaxy for their own. And action, adventure, excitement, and awesome entertainment ensues.
Dude, that is awesome. I like how you say your pitch sucks. And I'm like, I'm totally sold. Give me my money if I didn't already give it to you.
Honestly, that was probably the best pitch I've given to date.
Yes! See, you just needed to be with family.
Probably.
That's how it goes. So, I didn't know that this originated from a tabletop game that you had. That's awesome.
Oh yeah, I've been playing the game since I was probably around 12 or 13, and it started with D&D, and it just found more stuff from there. I play all kinds of games, all kinds of genres, different editions. Love it.
That is so cool. No, so we way back, I got introduced to like tabletop gaming. I mean, granted, like I played Warhammer 40K and stuff like that forever ago, and I have 1,000% have an army of greenskins because a pretty girl with greenskins just seemed like it had to happen.
Did you cosplay that while you were playing?
No, I want to though. When I finally play with them, I will be an orc and I will just run around screaming "Wag!"
There's something sexy about a feral female orc.
That must be why it went over so well in the movies, right? Oh my goodness. So no, this is really exciting because the other one that I was kind of introed into was oh my gosh, it's the Cthulhu ones. I can't even remember, but they're super fucked up and they take like 9 hours to play. And the amount of time that we had to stop it, and I was like, we're gonna have to pick this up in like 3 days when I've recovered, because I like mentally and emotionally drained and I just can't anymore. And if one more fucking beast comes out, I'm gonna die.
Yeah, there's a few different iterations of Cthulhu in role playing, and I've played a few of them, and they're all really super fun.
Yes, they really are. They just if you are not ready to spend your day doing it, you probably not prepared enough for this.
Yeah, well, that's kind of role playing in general, though.
Yeah,
You need a good chunk of
true.
time.
That is true. See, even Steve agrees. Your pitch was awesome. Thanks for coming by, you marine crayon eating bastard. We're so happy that you're here.
Well, thank you, Steve.
Lazzy's here. Interesting origin. I can sense this IP has heart based on the years of planning, which is super, super, super cool.
Absolutely. I actually talked to my the players that I had in that game, because I was obviously running the game, and their characters aren't really in this. Probably the first trilogy. You're not going to see much of that, but I talked to them and said, "Hey, would you mind if I actually use some aspects of your characters for the next trilogy?" And they were like, "Yeah, totally down." So, and that the particular story that we ran with on that one was super cool. They, you know how sometimes you have a role playing experience and like people talk about it years later.
Yeah,
that's one of those. They really enjoyed where that story went. So yeah, I can't wait to put that into novel form.
You know what? This is something that we need to do, because I've actually never gotten to play D&D, and I'm so sad because I feel like I need to. I'm dramatic enough.
Oh, definitely.
Hey, thanks. I appreciate that. So I know a couple of us all throughout CG that are super down for like D&D games. We need to do a virtual stream D&D. It needs to happen.
Let's do it.
Okay, I'm like, you know what? After this, I'm gonna me, Raven. Raven does D&D like every weekend. Like we're all getting together. We're gonna do it. It's gonna be great.
Cool.
You guys can teach me the ways of being that much of a dork. Super excited for it. Okay, so you had Vinny Tartamella do your art, right here.
Yes, he did. He did the cover work for the novel. It just came out. I'm ecstatic at how this came out. He sat down and we actually got on StreamYard and just kind of he was drawing it as we were talking about it. So, I mean, that was really a really cool way to do it. It was really easy that way because we weren't emailing back and forth. He wasn't sending me drafts back and forth. He just did it.
and like no one's getting frustrated because you're able to go, oh yeah, that I don't quite like it like that, maybe like this, and so you can fix it on the fly instead of like Vinny spending hours sending it and you're like, yeah, I don't like it, and you're like, okay, cool.
Yeah, for sure. Actually, I recorded some of that too and put together a time-lapse video of him drawing this cover. So that's attached to the campaign as well if you want to check that out.
Oh, is that what's up here?
Yep, I think that's the second one on the list. That's the trailer right there.
Okay. Yeah. How long is this?
It's about 4 minutes and change, I believe.
You know what? I don't care. We're gonna watch it and I'm gonna comment. That sounds like fun.
Yeah, I mean you can just mute it. I just put it to music.
Oh yes, you did.
But yeah, we can definitely talk over it.
That's badass. So gosh, Vinny this is just insane though, because every time I see Vinny do any kind of like artwork or anything like that, it's always like super detailed and super I don't know, like it just seems like it's so easy for him.
Yeah, it does. Like he can bang work out, man. He's a machine. And the quality of his work is just off the charts.
Right. Well, and it's so consistent. Like it's always the same level of quality, the same kind of like look to he's got a good look to all of his characters. If you see something, you can tell it was Vinny.
Right. Yeah, that's one awesome thing about him. Yeah, his work definitely has his signature on it. Just by looking at it, you can tell that's Vinny.
Oh yeah, it's so funny because I'll actually watch other people's streams and someone will be like, "So we did this cover art," and I was like, "Oh, you did your cover?" They're like, "I was getting there." I'm like, "Oh, I'm sorry." I'm just saying that looks like Vinny.
Yeah, definitely. I think it has to do with his colors too, because he paints all of his own work as well, and it just he's definitely got a style that is his own.
He really does. Well, and I like if you see like what he's doing now versus his finished product and how everything kind of has that like ethereal glow to it, it really kind of screams that fantasy piece that you were going for, which is so cool.
Yeah, for sure. The only thing that I was partially disappointed about was the fact that you see the guy on the left here right now. Like that whole form was just awesome, and a little bit of that had to be drawn over to make room for other characters. But I love that.
Yeah, this guy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I could see being a little bit disappointed.
But it had to be done.
In reality,
he even asked me, and I was like, "Yeah, it's you got to fit him in there. It's all good."
I mean, in all honesty, it's like disappointment in the best possible way because everything is so good that you're like, I don't want any of it covered.
Right.
Keep all of it. Just make it all perfect.
Yeah, like I don't even want to put a logo on this thing, but I have to.
Oh yeah, there's no such thing as a virgin cover novels. That's not exactly
Right. But he did leave
Try.
space. He left space at the top, and he made a little kind of pocket at the bottom. So yeah, there's space that can be used for logos and names and whatnot.
This is just fascinating to me because I can't do this at all.
Yeah, me too. And I hear talking to people who are just artists and not writers, like they say the same thing. They're like, I don't know how you put all this together. And I'm like, well, I watching you draw, I feel the exact same way. It's just,
yeah,
it's really cool how everything just comes together, how you can take that from your mind and put it on paper.
absolutely. Gosh dang, it's just so crazy. And everything is so, like, I've tried, and like I'm very basic bitch. If I actually try to draw it, 90% of the time looks horrible. But I did actually try art class for a while, and I came up with a couple of good things. But this whole like sketchy, being super sketchy, and then going in and refining it, like I can't. Everything I do, if I put a line down, it's there forever. Like there is no erasing. There's no going back over. There's no like, oh no, this didn't quite work. Redo it. I'm like, no, I ruined it. It's gone. It's over. It's done.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same way. I'm actually much better painting than I am at drawing.
Same. Oh my gosh. I wonder if that's like a discernible trait that you could find among like certain personality types. Like certain people can draw it, and certain people can paint. Some can do it all. And
yeah, that could be. Because I actually tried to draw this out to give him an idea of what I was looking for, and by the time I was done with it, I was like, no, this is shit. So what I did is I just went to Photoshop. I found a bunch of like reference pieces and like blocked them all together and kind of where these people were standing. And I was like, here, this is what I got. I'm sorry, I couldn't even present to you the shit that I drew.
I mean, at least you did some of the work, which is something that I think on one of Inkspot's streams we were talking about before, where really if you've got an idea, I think Adam said the same thing on our last stream. If you've got an idea of how you want something to look, go and do the legwork for your artists to get them at least some references and be like, this is kind of what I'm thinking.
Yeah, definitely.
Otherwise, kind of screwed them over. Dude, that was badass. That was super cool. Oh, do you want to watch your trailer?
Oh, we can.
Okay. Look, I finally can play audio. You have no idea how excited I am.
I like the trailer.
You're partial to it? I got popcorn. A little bit, yeah. I'll play the trailer and have some popcorn. Okay, yeah, it was pretty badass. that was pretty awesome. My gosh,
halfway decent at trailers.
Yeah,
we got.
I was gonna say, did you do your trailer then?
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yep, I didn't feel the need to spend money on something I could do myself. That I can do myself.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I really like video editing. I just get lazy. Like right now, I've got our intro, our channel video for Red Valkyrie, and I have all of the speaking parts and everything edited down. It's the clips where I have to go back through all of our past videos and download, and I'm like, oh, I don't want to. So I just haven't done it yet. I was like, oh, all of that's super relevant though, and I really need that in order to put this on.
Yeah, it's not always the most fun thing to do, but it's got to be done.
I really enjoy it. I just every now and then I bitch out, and right now I'm bitching out pretty hard, which is terrible. Especially because I told Sai, I was like, just spend money on it. I could do it. I could totally do it, and I haven't done it. Okay, so you've got the super awesome novel.
Yes. Which, by the way, there is if you're wondering if this idiot can write, made the first 3 chapters available for download, so you can read those and just kind of get a feel and see what you think.
Awesome, dude, that's super cool. So, how many pages is your novel hitting?
It is going to be over 300. I don't want to put an exact number on it because I can't. Because right now it's in the 3rd draft, and I'm still gutting and shortening phrases. So yeah, some scenes are being rewritten. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I can't. As it stands, it's about 350, but it's gonna probably fall below that by the time I'm done tearing it up and putting it back together.
I mean, it makes sense because you gotta make sure that you're going through and you're streamlining it. You're not rambling. You're not like back talking things. And
yep. Because I do have a tendency to run on a little bit sometimes. So that's why I go back and catch these things and shave down. Sometimes I'll turn a sentence into 3.
Yeah. Okay, so you've got that, and then you've got this companion, the visual companion. So tell us a little bit about this. First off, you did your cover.
Oh, the talented Carla Torrinelli did the cover.
I love Carla.
She's behind Grim Reaper 2 and Grim Reaper 1, if you don't know that already. I'm sure you do. Yeah. Others may not. Yeah, Carla's awesome. And she said, she asked me what style I wanted to go with for the cover, and I said, well, manga's your thing, right? So just, fuck it, go with it.
Just do you, boo.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Because I think this particular universe lends itself to all kinds of different styles of animation and depiction. I could see this being a live action movie. I could see this being an animated cartoon or series. I could see it being manga. I could see it being all kinds of things. So that's one thing you're going to find in the visual companion. There's going to be all kinds of different styles in there depicting these characters in these places. And that's really what it is. It's kind of an introduction to the universe, since, obviously you're probably not familiar with it because it's only really in my brain and on my computer. So
right. You're like, you haven't seen it yet. And I know you haven't because it's here.
So yeah, I just thought that would be a nice thing to go along. At the same time, kicking work back to Comicsgate and, people who have helped me out as well, throw them a little work in the process.
No. That's so cool. I love it. And so within this, do you just have basically like a collection of different artists who have gone through and done sections of your story?
There's going to be a lot of them right now are characters and like starships. But I'm going to get some planets in there too, just location settings. It's just artwork along with commentary, because I want to explain some of this too. I don't just want to be like, okay, here's a picture. No reference. You don't need to know who that is. That's just a picture.
Here's a picture. You want to know who that is? Read the book. and hope that it makes enough sense that you know who that is.
Yeah. So there's going to be some brief commentary. And also I wanted to throw in a little bit of like evolution stages for the drawing process, because I like that stuff. And I think a lot of other people do too. So
absolutely.
Well, that's an example.
I love these kinds of character sheets and everything where you get to see multiple angles of them, or you get to see the sketches and like where it started and where it ended and all of that.
Yeah, that's Narwhal stuff right there. He did a really good job too.
Dude, Narwhal he's so fucking good.
He is, and he's a cool dude too.
Some of our Red Valkyrie merch. So he did our first set of t-shirts that we have through. Super stoked. And he's already sold 2. Like he's just super popular. We've already got 2 sales off of him. So no, this is awesome. And I like his over stylized that he does, where everything is again like Vinny, it's very distinctly Narwhal.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And this is all concept. These right here, what you're looking at is the first drawings that were ever done of Sunsworn characters. That's so awesome. Think of what you're going to see in the visual companion is a lot of concept, and Vinny's cover is pretty much the idealized version. Like that's kind of how it turns out. That's the end game.
I gotcha. That's so cool. See, and this right here is what I love, because as someone who can't draw, this is like magic.
Right.
Like
yeah. Same here.
Watching a magician. You're like, it started there. You got this. How did that happen?
And that's not even the final version. The final version is up top.
That's so crazy. This is, and that kind of stuff is always, it's just entertaining, especially if you don't have that kind of skill set.
Yeah, and people can pick through this and be like, well, why didn't you leave the Blue Blade, you idiot?
Yeah.
I like it.
Like, Blue Blade was better than the weird galaxy black hole one.
And this is Lakeem Amir. He's somebody who, actually, this piece right here started off as fan art. And I was like, he's actually in the chat right now, I believe. I was like,
Yes,
dude, I'm going to need you to do some more stuff for me. Because, yeah, he's, I don't think he's very well known at the moment, but he should be. He's going to be launching a project of his own, I think, toward the end of the year as well. So, yeah, if you're not following Lakeem Amir on Twitter, please do so.
Yeah, I'm about to, because I didn't realize that's where this came from. But
yeah, he knocked it out of the park. He sent me this. I was like, dude, that's awesome.
Right?
I need you.
There we go. So if you don't know how to spell his name, there it is. Find him on Twitter. Because yeah, you need more exposure for sure.
Definitely.
That's super awesome. Gosh. That's
and
so cool.
He also did these starships as well.
Oh, hold on, wait. Let me just bring you back up. This is so cool.
Actually, he just sent me some of the final colored versions of some of these today, and they're
oh,
sweet.
Did he?
They're sweet. They will be in the visual companion. Yep.
Hell yeah, that is super awesome. All right. Bring it back down. All right, so your stretch goals. Let's go over your stretch goals real quick.
Yep. What I tried to do here was start at 5 with a bookmark, and like every 1,000, just try to kick in a little something extra. So every so often, we're gonna be adding 2 pages to the visual companion. So we're gonna pack as much art into this as we possibly can.
Nice. That is super cool. You want a hand turkey? I'll make you a hand turkey. That's all I got, man. That's all I could do. We'll do a Sunsworn hand turkey. It'll be terrible.
No, that's all good. So yeah, 5,000 is a bookmark, 6,000 is a sticker, 7,000 we start the extra 2 pages in the visual companion.
Nice.
8,000 we're upgrading all the paper stock to the best possible quality.
Very cool.
Yeah, again, like at almost every other, but not quite. We're doing 2 pages to the visual, so that happens at 9 as well. And at 10,000, everybody's going to get a free print of Vinny's cover art, which I really want to happen.
So we need to get you to 10 at a minimum.
Minimum for sure.
Minimum. So if you're in the chat and you haven't backed, go back right now, because that needs to happen. And I want my damn Vinny art. Oh my goodness. I agree, Steve. That is it's some super badass artwork for sure.
Yeah, man. I'm grabbing all the best I can.
So at 12,000 you can get an Astral Union access card.
Yes, that's just like a novelty item, you know, like the little key cards people use in sci-fi movies to swipe and get in the doors. Now we're going to be making some of those. Just Dude, just for a cool little novelty.
I have so many like cheeky little novelty items from CG stuff I'm so excited for. You have no idea. Oh my goodness. So, an audio version.
Yes, at 15,000, I'm going to go ahead and narrate an audio version of the book. Make that available to everybody who backed a novel tier.
Dang, is it going to be your like smooth, sultry voice?
It will, yes.
Nice.
Yes, and I'll also upgrade my audio equipment to make sure it's as clean as possible. I mean, I have a decent program now, but I think I want to go leaps and bounds above what I have to do something like this.
Okay, so new goal, 15,000 is now what we have to hit, because there's audio version, and that needs to happen because I drive a lot, and that would be helpful to be able to get Sunsworn while I drive.
Yeah, definitely. And you can hear me all day long. You can pretend like I'm right there with you.
Aw, that's so sweet. It would be like you're right in the car, and I'll just have to try to avoid the urge to throw you out of it. That's so mean.
Well, see, I'm not actually there, so you don't have to worry. All you have to do is turn me off at that point. So it's it's the perfect deal.
That's awesome. That's exactly what we need. So 60,000, you get a free print of the galaxy map, which is
yes.
badass.
Yep. There's going to be a galaxy map in the visual companion, but at 16,000, we're going to make a print of that as well.
Okay, I'll take that. Hardcover at 18.
Yep.
Damn.
Yep. It's a high goal. It's a high cost. That's why it's up there. But yeah, that's something I would like to see too. Because obviously I want to see, my work presented as nice as we possibly can.
So
But
new goal is 20,000 as I've just read this one. Just gonna keep upping it, guys. I need you guys to come out like hard for Cousin Red over here, damn it.
I'm not gonna say no.
Right? You're like, oh, maybe not that. Like, yeah, that's never coming in.
Nope, it's never enough. And anything left over is going to be going into future projects as well, because there's 6 books that I want to happen for sure. And in between those books, obviously a novel takes a good bit of time to write. So while I'm writing the next one, what I would like to do is launch Sunsworn comic books as well.
Oh, very cool. Very cool. And then, in all honesty, like you were talking about how you have so many different styles that this can kind of cater to.
Right.
You should open it up where every comic is done by a different artist.
Well, that's a possibility, but I think what I would probably do is see how well received the first one is. If people really like the style, then I'd probably want to stick with that.
Yeah, that's fair. That's totally fair. Gosh, this is such a cool project. I'm really happy. Like I backed and was like, it's from Red. I'm backing. Like just instant blind. And then I went back and I was like, it's a novel. I backed a novel. I was like, yeah, I'm down for it. It's fine. It's still Red. It's Red. It's got Vinny art. It's got Carla art. I'm good.
Yeah, and I'm trying to put that out there as much as possible so people know. That's one of the. I think there's only 2 frequently asked questions. The first one is, I got a lot of questions before this even came out. Is this related to Deathsworn? So I had to address that and say, no, it's not. But we do endorse the Deathsworn project. So please give back that.
Right. And Deathsworn is awesome. Not related.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Maybe in the future there'll be some kind of crossover potential. But that's I'm not even thinking about that right now. What I'm thinking about is, and the second question I added is this a graphic novel? No, it is not. It is a prose novel, and it does come with a visual companion. So, but we're looking to do comics in the future.
Dude, that's awesome. That's super cool. And you're already funded, which is badass.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, the support came like a whirlwind, man. Like I was just blown away how quickly people came out for this. I really appreciate it.
This is what happens when you're. Sorry, that's really distracting to me. It's the dude in the corner. I don't know what video that is. It's very distracting. But yeah, so for those of you who maybe don't know Red, which I don't know how you don't know Red, but let's just pretend that there's people out here who don't know Red. You've been promoting indie comics for a really, really long time, and you've been a really big voice when it comes to trying to make sure that these projects are getting at least visibility, they're getting support and a platform to be able to kind of talk about.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's why I'm not even remotely surprised that 22 days left. And is this your first 30 days?
Yes.
So 22 days in your first 30 days. So in 8 days, you're 106% funded.
Yeah, I'm super pleased with that.
I mean, if we're going to be honest, it's, everybody knows you. You are a very genuine individual, which is something that a lot of people very much value. And on top of that, this is a really badass kind of project. This is something that's different, that isn't really around in the same kind of circles that you and I tend to run in.
Right.
But it should be, and it very easily could be.
Yeah, definitely. And honestly, that's one of the things I was trying to do with this project. That's why I decided to do the novel before launching a comic is, we have Comicsgate, we have the Fandom Menace, and we have a lot of people just kind of floating in between that, agree, maybe aren't that vocal or whatever, what have you. But I really want to see these communities come together because we're all kind of behind the same thing. And it's just, we're here for entertainment, not political bullshit. So absolutely. Why not? Why isn't everyone uniting on this? Why is there like a section here and a section there and people just kind of not talking to each other? I think it's bullshit. And that's one thing I'm trying to do is bridge the gap.
And this is a really cool way to bridge the gap. It's something that can take. So we're taking the people that can write, the people that can draw, people like me that cosplay and talk, because that's what I got in my corner. And, trying to bring everyone together and be like, look, we can all be one giant industry together that has all of these different facets and all of these different aspects that are that are really fucking awesome and that all of us are interested in. And it's really just going to make everything better for all of us in the long run.
Definitely, yeah. And I mean, it's obviously it's going to be much more difficult to crowdfund a film than it is a comic book, but you can write a novel. You know, people still read; they're still out there.
Absolutely. Well, and Elasmat. So if you've seen any of his stuff, he's gone through and he's actually made a couple of films that they have IMDb's. Like we've done watch parties for them.
Yeah, I've seen a couple of those watch parties.
They're fucking hilarious and really entertaining and actually shockingly well done, especially considering like limitations and stuff. The Kung Fu one that he did, he was, you know, laid up with a broken foot the whole time. And like he's filming from a freaking wheelchair. He's doing it. He had a built-in trolley. It was great, you know, but like seeing stuff like that, that's what's really cool about this. And that's what makes this so exciting is that you could literally, if you have an idea for something, you can find your market. And if it's something that you like, the odds that somebody else within this same group of people is going to also like it is pretty damn good, because most of us are really varied in our interests. And so why not try it? Like,
yeah, well, and that's what I'm talking about too, because you have Alismat over here, you know, definitely more on the Comicsgate end of things, and you got Rookie Critic over there, definitely more on the Fandom Menace side of things, really doing the same thing. So why not come together, you know,
bring them together?
Absolutely. And you know, who knows, years from now maybe it's not going to be that ridiculous of a notion to crowdfund an actual professionally made film, you know. If we all come together for the same purpose, we can do it.
It really, honestly, it's the same reason why there's something that I was kicking around for a while that I'm still kicking around because I don't know how well received it would be. But as far as writing goes, I haven't sat down and written a novel, right? I've sat down and written like really short films or short stories for like children and stuff. I've never sat down and actually written a book or a comic or a graphic novel. But what I do write is a lot of poetry. And I was thinking it would be interesting to take certain poems and kick it to certain artists and be like, I want you to read this. And I want you to tell me, like, draw up a piece that this makes you think of, and then put those together and put it out as a book. I have no idea if anybody would buy it, but it's an interesting concept. And it's an interesting idea that could potentially work depending on, you know, how everything is kind of handled and how low I can make that goal. Because
yeah, definitely.
It would have to be low.
Definitely, yeah. And I'll tell you this much. The only reason my goal was as high as it was because of the art involved.
Right.
Yeah, otherwise it would have been much lower, because all I'd have to worry about is I definitely want to, once I'm finished with the third draft, I want to send it to a professional editor. That's not cheap. And production. That's really all I need outside of the art as far as funding it.
Absolutely. Okay, so let's go over your tiers real quick. We're about a half hour in. Let's look over at your tiers and see how people can back you.
Okay. So yeah, the first tier, the featured tier, is the full Sunsworn experience. That's the novel along with the visual companion. And everybody who gets a novel is going to be on the thank you page, because that's just how I roll. Just like every book's going to be signed. There's no add-ons or anything like that.
That's awesome.
You know, that's just something. And I think that's one reason a lot of people look for these projects is, you know, you don't have to track somebody down to get your stuff signed. It's coming to you that way. So
yeah,
I believe in that philosophy. I don't believe in charging extra for a signature on these projects just because we were forced to charge so much for them already. It's not going to take that much out of you to sign the damn thing.
Right.
So yeah, that's the basic tier, the novel and the visual together. Yep, $40. It's $10 shipping US and $20 everywhere else. I wanted to keep it simple.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yes, and then there's a visual companion only. I don't think anybody's picked this up, and honestly, I don't encourage you to, because I think they go really well together.
Yeah, but I mean, it's nice that you offer it, and so if somebody, you know, decides maybe, I don't know, if money's tight and their buddy is gonna pick up the novel and they're just gonna share the novel between themselves or something, but they're like, but I want to own the art.
Yeah, that's all good. That's all good. Like if somebody just wants the art from these artists, that's fine. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly why I included it.
I just realized when your estimated shipping is, and I really hope you hit that. Do you want to know why?
Why?
My birthday's in October. I need you to hit it by the 18th, okay?
Well, yeah, wow. That's not the first time I've heard that from a woman, but
oh my God.
This whole thing really to me is about setting precedents. So I intend to deliver early. So it'll probably come to you before October if everything works out the way it needs to.
Oh, okay. I guess that'll be okay.
I mean, I can hold yours and send it so it arrives on the 18th.
No, that's fine. You send it when you send all of them. That'll be good. Okay, so for $30 you can get the novel.
Yep. If you just want the novel, if you're not too interested in the art book or the visual companion, that's totally fine. Also, you can get the novel by itself. That will come signed, and you also get a mention on the thank you page.
Sweet. Twin Sons.
This is just 2 copies of each. You get 2 copies of the novel and 2 copies of the visual companion.
Oh, so great for couples. You can read it together.
Or if you want to get
now.
right, or if you want to get a set and give one away, that works too. Whatever you need to for.
Okay, your 140 tier.
Yes, this is for the Union, named after the Astral Union, which is the governing body in this galaxy. This is the military tier. So I noticed a lot of people just say, okay, we're giving 5 books to the military, but I didn't want to do that. I don't want to make people buy tiers separately. So with this, you're getting a copy of the novel and a copy of the visual companion for yourself. And then 4 copies of the novel will be donated to the military via the USO.
Oh, that's super awesome. That's really cool. Are they getting their own section, a thank you page?
Oh, of course. Of course.
And you have the regular thank yous, and then you have the thank you for donating to the Union.
Yes, and then you won't see any self-aggrandizing pictures on Twitter either. It will be, you may see pictures, just to prove that it happened, because sometimes you need to do that, but they'll say thank you to the backers.
Very true. Apparently, Steve tells me that I'm being stupid by giving one away or doing a couple thing, but that's because Steve he's not interested in couples. So there's one to use and one to collect, which is also a really good idea, because if you're like me, I'm hard on novels. I'm not one of those people that can open it and be super gentle. I'm the kind that bends the cover back and it twists and I crack the spine. I just rough on books.
Yeah, I'm the same way, but yeah, I'm definitely not going to discourage you from getting a collector set.
Yeah, right. You'll be okay with it, I'm sure. Okay, so for the future.
This is something I don't know, I kind of came up with when I was doing the military tier. I was like, well, why don't we look into doing something similar for libraries? So with this tier, you'll get a copy of the novel and the visual companion for yourself. And then 4 copies of the novel will be donated to local libraries.
That is super awesome. I love the fact, that's actually something I wish that more people in CG did, because we had Wordsmith, who has a bunch of his books that he was donating to school libraries. And so a bunch of kids had already read his book. And he was like, yeah, they really liked it. And then he kind of changed some of it and did some extra editing before he did his actual campaigns for crowdfunding.
Oh, that's cool.
But I love that idea. I love the idea of I want kids, and I want people who maybe otherwise wouldn't be able to get these stories to be able to get these stories, because that's how you bring up a new generation of comic book lovers and fantasy and sci-fi lovers, is by bringing them in when they're young and being like, this is what a good story looks like. This is what you could do. And this is a guy who really wanted to write a story, so he sat down and he wrote it, and now you're holding his book. And being able to kind of give kids that perspective to encourage them, you don't have to just, go to school, go to college, get a degree, and then pay off student loans for the rest of your life. There are ways that you can do things. And granted, everyone can't do them, but you also shouldn't just give up on your dream just because it's hard.
Definitely not. And that's actually one of the questions Carla asked me when I was on her stream. She said, why now? Why did you wait so long to do this? And my response to that was, well, when I was young, I was irresponsible and I didn't have much of a work ethic. So I was spending all my time playing video games and role-playing games. And thanks to that, I had this world to build off of now.
Exactly. You're like, well, I mean, if nothing else, at least it gave me, a story.
Right. Yeah, because I'll tell you, if ADHD was a thing when I was in school, I would have been diagnosed probably multiple times with multiple variations.
But I mean, I was convinced I was going to get diagnosed as an adult, and I went and took that test, and I guarantee scrolled out 10 times. And they were like, nope, you're normal. I was like, that's normal? That's terrifying. That should not be. What does ADHD look like then? Holy shit.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. Like, that's what occupied me, was my imagination. My imagination was so out of control. I couldn't focus on doing the things I was supposed to do.
Right.
So in the long run, like, once I've reined that in now at this age and got it under control, now I can actually use it to my advantage.
Heck yeah. That's super awesome. Okay. So for 350, and there's only one of these.
Yes, this is Become an Astral Templar. You'll become a character in the book, and someone actually already bought the Become a Pirate tier, which is a space pirate. This one's priced a little higher because this is going to be a pivotal character in the book, and they'll be reoccurring as well. So he won't just appear in this book; he'll appear in the next book also. So what goes along with that is you can name the character, or you can give the character your name, whichever you prefer, somebody else's name, whatever. And also you'll get a page in the visual companion depiction of that character with your likeness or not, however you want them to look is how they will look. And you also get a print of that to go along with it. So yeah, you'll be a part of the story.
Damn, why don't I have 350? That's really cool. I like that. And then of course you had your pirate tier.
Yep.
Which was just not as badass as this one.
Right. Yeah. Pretty much identical, except it's a space pirate instead of an Astral Templar, which once you really discover what an Astral Templar is, you'll probably want to be one.
Right. I mean, I already want to be one just because it sounds really badass.
Yeah, they're kind of the elite of the elite in the Astral Union Defense Force, almost like the Green Beret of of that defense force. But they're unique in the regard that they only choose so many per year from graduating classes. And what happens is the armor they're wearing is actually nanobites. That there's a housing unit that's implanted in their back between their shoulder blades when they're inducted. And they can use those nanobites to cover themselves in armor. They can use it to form weapons, form shields. The nanobites also heal them at an extraordinary rate. They increase their physical prowess. It's they're already the elite of the elite, but the armor makes them so much more.
That's actually a really cool idea. I'm totally down. Okay, so questions. My question, at least one of my questions.
Yes.
Who dis? Because she hot.
Who that?
If you couldn't tell, I like her.
That is Hrala Weiss, who is the daughter of the primary protagonist in this story. She is a crystal mystic, as you can probably tell.
Heck yeah.
And the fellow in the background there is Trip Vengeance. He's a novice mystic who's kind of it's kind of his story along with the story of the Sunsworns. You'll watch them kind of come into their own. But this is a depiction from a scene where he comes into conflict with her and discovers like what somebody who actually knows what they're doing can really do. So
yeah, because he looks real scared right there.
Yes.
And granted, there's a lot of sharpie, pretty things down here that I feel like he's about to fall on.
Correct. And that's kind of the idea. I really love what Carla did with his face, because that's exactly he's shitting himself the whole time.
Precisely what he looks like. He looks like he's got a full diaper and he needs to change.
Right. And you'll notice she's very calm and confident because she knows this a bitch.
That is why I love her. She is so badass looking. Like she just is like, hey, what's up? This is what I do. It's like, oh, you pissed me off? Boom, there you go. Take it.
Yeah, he doesn't fare very well in that particular encounter.
I can't imagine he would. Oh my goodness. Yes, Rookie, I am dressed as the girl on the screen. It's kind of shitty simply because, COVID. I can't go out and get my normal supplies like I would. But I did have blue contacts, so I at least got the right color eyes.
Right? You got the right wig? You're good.
I had the right wig. I already had that in place. It's the rest of it that sucks. It's fine.
Yeah, she's going to be a great character.
She seems like it.
She's kind of I don't want to say an anti-hero, but she's a villain who's not entirely a villain.
Okay, she's a villain that has a little bit of morals.
Just a little bit. Maybe not at first, but every single character in this is going to have an arc. That regardless, it doesn't matter if they're a side character or what. You're going to see them grow, or lessen in some cases in some way.
That is amazing. And I gotta say, I find this always really funny. I don't know why, but every single time I like pick a cosplay from somebody's campaign. And granted, you turned me, you were like, I think that you'll like her. And I was like, yep, that's it. That's what I'm doing. I'm done. I'm not even gonna look at anyone else. The thing that's really funny is I don't know why, but I always end up picking the villains.
Well, this is the only
I'm just
depiction of
evil.
her. Right now, this is the only depiction of her. And the only other female that's been depicted is Jenny, and that's on Vinny's cover.
Yeah. And she's pretty straight laced, and I don't have a brown wig.
Kind of, so I wouldn't call her straight laced. She's
She looks straight laced.
she's got some sass. Yeah. She's definitely got some sass to her, and she's very much independent. She doesn't really like to be told what to do or how to think, and she just kind of does things her own way. She's kind of the pilot character, more or less. She's a pilot / mechanic. She's actually like a mercenary that the Astral Union hires on to do certain jobs. She's ex-military, so she knows what she's doing. And
damn it, I like her too now.
yeah, she gets a lot of work just because like she knows what she's doing. She's already familiar with the way things work in the Defense Force, so she just doesn't want to really do that anymore. So she kind of does her own thing and then takes jobs on the side.
I mean, I can relate. I'm like, I'm just waiting on my time. No, she's badass, and I don't know why. And I know it's such a stereotypical trope and everything. You have the female that's hot, that she's a mechanic, and she's not afraid to get her hands dirty. I don't even care. It's 1,000% like one of my most favorite characters ever. Every time I'm just like, yes, I understand her because I'm the same way.
Yeah. I mean, you can have strong female characters that aren't bitches and invulnerable.
Yeah, you can have. They don't have to be damsels, and they don't have to be assholes. They can be in between, where they're like, I like to get shit done, and
right. And sometimes they're a little of both.
Yeah, sometimes they're bitchy, and it's fine, and we all just walk away and try not to make eye contact. Oh my goodness. So, okay, so you've been working on this for just years and years and years.
Well, I mean, the world was built about 15 years ago for gaming purposes.
Mm-hmm.
And I've always, it's one of these things I always come back to from time to time. Like I'll be going through my old stuff and be like, man, I should really do something with this. I should break this out again, do another game with it or something. And when I decided, I was going to try to forge ahead and replace Star Wars because somebody has to.
Right.
I thought this would be the perfect setting, and I'm already totally invested in it. I already know everything about it, so yeah, let's just break it out and make it happen. Tell some stories.
That makes it really cool. Okay, so here's a question, personal question.
Yes.
For what would be your number one piece of advice for somebody who is trying to get into writing like a full-on novel? What would be your piece of advice that you'd give them?
The best advice I could possibly give you is just do it. Just do it. Write every single day. If you got 10 minutes, write. Just get it done. Get it done. Your first draft is going to be absolute dog shit every time. But just do it. You can always go back and correct. I'm on my third draft of this, so obviously I'm not perfect, right?
Yeah. I mean, if we're going to be honest, nobody is. Otherwise, editors wouldn't exist.
Yeah, exactly. And that's another reason why it's going to be edited, because I don't, I'm pretty confident in my ability, but I'm not there. I'm not a professional.
Yeah.
I'm not trusting myself with that. So I want to make sure I can get as many eyes on this as I can before I put it out to the public. People are paying for a product. It's going to be a damn good product.
Absolutely. Well, and it's really important too. So I've got friends who are writers, and usually because of the nature of it, I mean, if they're working full-time jobs and don't have extra money and stuff, they don't typically have an editor who's a professional editor. And so it'll be a friend, or it'll be a wife, or it'll be
right,
whoever they can find. And the amount of times I had one girl, bless her, and I felt so bad. She wrote a book, and I bought it to try and help support her. And I got through the first 3 chapters and I closed it and was like, so who was your editor? And she was like, oh, I did it myself. And I was like, oh, okay. And she's like, why? And I went, oh, I don't think you want to know, but I can't read your book. She's like, what? And I'm like, in the first 3 chapters, I found like 50 errors. And I was just like, I just can't read it
Yeah.
anymore. I was like, you had continuity line problems and you're 3 chapters in. There's another like 20.
Oh no.
Like I can't do it. I'm so sorry, hon. Like I'm sure it was a good idea, but you need like a real heavy editor.
Well, that's all part of the game too, and that's something I did consider was just going to straight to Amazon with this. But I mean, there's so much. I mean, I'm sorry, there's so much shit on Amazon, like stuff
really
just like that. Like people are pouring their heart into it. I get it, but you're not.
But you
You're not
gotta also
perfect.
put the time in. And you gotta
Yes.
understand. Like
You got to put the time in, and you got to put a little bit of money in too. And
you
that's the
do.
thing people don't get. Like you have to pay for something good. You know what I mean? Like nobody is capable of coming up with something perfect on their own. Nobody.
Right. Well, and I think that to be a really successful writer, you have to have an amount of humility about yourself to know that like I have a great idea and I know it's a good idea and I know that I'm going to write it and it's going to be terrible.
Right.
And somebody else is going to have to go through and be like, yo, good try, but try again because this is really bad in like these specific areas. And then to go back through and rehash it and have to know that, you're going to tear it apart a million times and you got to know when that line is that that's just going to have to be good enough because you could rewrite this story into oblivion a million times over. And no matter what you do, your finished project, you're never going to be happy with. Just like artists finish their stuff and they're never happy with everything.
Never. Nope. And that's just a sign of a creative person.
Yeah.
You're never going to be happy with it. That's why you have to get other eyes on it. And, when other people are telling you that works, then it works. Just, stop it and move forward. Otherwise, you're going to be sitting on this shit for years.
But you also got to make sure, and that's another thing that I think a lot of people don't realize, you can't just have yes men around you. You have to make sure that the people that you're going to and asking for help are comfortable telling you when things suck.
Oh,
and they're not just going to tell you that everything that you do is amazing and rosy and holy shit, it's the best thing that's ever happened, because that's not helpful if you're trying to create something meaningful.
Definitely. I would direct you toward George Lucas for that example. That's what happens when you surround yourself with yes men. And if you look at the original trilogy, those were all passed on to other hands for fine tuning to hone it into what it was. And then, the prequels, I like the prequels, but boy, do they have issues.
Yeah. I mean, I'm okay with the first 6. I refuse to watch anything that Disney put their hands on.
No, Disney's just god awful. Disney is the poster child for don't do this yourself. Don't think that it's good enough because you say it's good enough. See Ryan Johnson on that one. He thinks everything he touches is fucking gold, and it is not.
It's just so disheartening because you see things that have really good potential, and normally what you would say is if you have an idea for like a new story, handing it off to fans of that story if it already exists is usually a good idea.
Oh, great idea.
Doesn't mean it's always a good idea.
Yeah.
That doesn't.
Honestly, one of the people that I'm going to have proofreading this, just for story, for flow, that kind of thing, is one of the original people who participated in the game.
Perfect.
Because I trust that guy. He loves to read, and he can be critical as shit. Like, and that's what I told him, man. When I give you this, I want every critical thought that comes through your mind. Like, that's just one. I'm gonna pick out a few people that I think are gonna give me like their honest opinion, because that's what we need.
Absolutely. No, and it's a very humbling experience to have to go and hand something off to somebody and be like, okay, like I poured my heart and soul into this, so like be honest, but be a little bit gentle. Like,
no, I don't want gentle at all. I just want brutal honesty.
Oh, you sir are far more brave than I am, I think.
It's intimidating. It's really intimidating to put your work in other people's hands, because like when you're the only one who's seeing it, it's all good. It all sounds wonderful, but trust me, it's not. You got all kinds of problems that only other people are going to see. So it's necessary. You just got to eat a little. Bullet. Yeah.
No,
eat a little bit of crow and go on with it.
Exactly. Oh my goodness, dude. I'm really excited for this. I think this is going to be really, really cool. I actually am probably going to need you to refund me so I can reback at a different tier now that I've looked into it a little bit more. And because I'm not kidding you. I got the notification that you went live, and I like insta-backed. I was like, "This done." And now that I'm looking, I'm like, "Oh, I might not have backed to the right tier. I think I'm gonna change it."
No, it's all good right now. Until it goes into demand, I'm pretty sure you can just refund automatically.
Yeah, we'll make it. It'll be good. It'll be fine. But yeah, no, this is. I mean, it's a great project. You're already doing really, really good, which is awesome. You got another 22 days. Are you planning on? Do you think that you might extend, or do you think that you're?
I'm not going to bullshit anybody. I'm definitely going to extend. Yeah, we're not going to play that game. Yeah, there's going to be an extension.
Awesome. So
I mean, unless some miracle comes out of nowhere and like $100,000 drops in the bucket, then yeah, I'll probably cut it off at 30 days. But
just leave it in demand. Be like, go, ready, go for it.
Yep. Yeah. So, otherwise, we're definitely extending.
So you guys will have 52 days to get your money together to be able to back this at whatever tier you want to back it at. Don't wait that long. Make sure that you go and back it as soon as possible, because this is super badass. We are at 3,700. I need you guys at a minimum to get to 10,000. That has to happen. I need that Vinny print. I absolutely need the Vinny print. 15 had another phenomenal stretch goal, as did 20, because 15 was the audio. 20 was all of the companion stories and stuff that you had for this. It just needs to happen. It just really does.
I'm in total agreement. And 18 is hardcover, so if you want to see it in hardcover,
yes,
push for that too.
Oh, that'd be so amazing! Like all of it. I want all of it. So 52 days to get another like 16.3. It's fine. That's not hard. Come on, we can do it.
I think we can do it.
Let's get you on EVS or something to see if we can just kick this all the way through. But no, this is a super great project. I'm so happy that I was able to get you on. I am super, super excited for it. And honestly, like, do you have any other like little tidbits or anything you want to throw out there?
I don't yet. I've been trying to think of maybe some promotional streams I can do where we throw in something else for people who back during that stream. So keep your eye out for that. I might do something like that in the near future. But
you come up with anything like that, you let me know, because I've got this that's just always waiting in the wings. So yeah, we could do a Red Valkyrie something. I don't know what. I'll have to think.
Cool. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely happening now. We met our goal, so that's awesome. Thank you, everybody who's contributed. I appreciate all you guys. It's a dream come true, man. I've been waiting to do something like this for a long time, and it's just really cool to be here. Like, I wasn't sure I wanted to be here for a while, but now I'm here, and it's awesome. So, and yes, Pale Rider says, so the novel had its start in a homebrew RPG. Yes, absolutely. I've been RPGing for years and years and years. So that's I think that's where all the creativity comes from, because that's all on the fly, impromptu decision making. So it really does help you kind of hone your imagination.
Right. No, that's it's just such a cool concept, and it's such a cool sounding story. I'm really excited to see what ends up happening with this. So if you haven't already backed, I don't know why you're taking your sweet ass time. I'm gonna need you to go do that, because I need my Vinny print, damn it. Gonna drop it again if I can type in the chat. There we go. Okay, so you have no excuse. I've got it in the chat. I've got it in the channel description. Be sure to go and follow Red Gaze on Twitter, and also check out, and I'm so sorry I didn't put this in the channel already, but I will make sure to go and update it. Check out his YouTube channel. He's got all kinds of amazing content. He usually streams with Lola, which is super awesome. They're a great duo, and they help out a bunch of indie projects. So really, I think it's time that we show our solidarity for everything that Gaze does, and help him out, make sure he gets all of his stretch goals, for sure.
I would very much appreciate that. Yes, become a member of the Gaze community.
Hell yes, that's super awesome. Thank you so much, Red, for coming on.
Thank you.
You're phenomenal. We need to stream more together. This is really fun.
Definitely.
And thank you, everybody in the chat. We will catch you guys next time. Do not forget to like, share, and subscribe to Red Valkyrie. We have new merch. It is super amazing. Go check it out. It's also in the channel description. Love you guys so much, and have a fantastic rest of your Sunday. We'll catch you later.